Hey, so it's been a minute. It's like the last couple months, even having to change my space of like where I'm recording. If you've watched me at all, you notice that it's like here or there or everywhere. And it's been hard for me to get my energy back in alignment. And I kept going, what is wrong with me? I don't understand why I'm hitting all these roadblocks. And last night when I was going to bed, I said, you know what? Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is another chance. And it's like something in me triggered to go, that's the mindset we've always had. Like, why did you let that go? Why did you give in to believing that, you have to do all these things to see abundance flow into your life? And I kept pushing back, blessings coming in, but not even really acknowledging them. Just like, oh, hey, thanks, yeah, okay. And then back to stressing about how's this next part going to play out, rather than doing what I've always done, which was pray, give thanks, know that everything is working out for me. And it's funny because you can know these things, you can tell yourself these things, but it still is a vibrational standpoint. So if you get to that point where you're going, oh yeah, I deserve it, it's gonna come, and you're not really meaning what you say, then you're blocking yourself from what you're wanting to flow into your life. And I never realized I was doing that. I started looking on it, the concept of, I have to figure this out. I have to do this. If I don't figure this out, I'm going to lose my house. If I don't figure this out, we're going to starve. And it just became more and more extreme. And instead of going, woosah, breathe, go back to the old method, go back to when you knew in your heart and in a vibrational sense that everything that was meant for you will come to you. Because we tend to forget this because the world is very fast and can be very chaotic, and then we have stresses, and we all know about financial stress, especially if we have children and responsibilities, So it comes down to, when you start lacking just a little bit, it is amazing how you can just skyrocket into lack, blockage, failure, all kinds of things, So just got to remember to turn it around, because even I was sitting there earlier and I thought, okay, there's two trains. There's one going up and there's one going down. Sitting at the station wondering, am I going to heaven or am I going to hell? Which way am I going to choose to allow myself to go? And it's a matter of that mindset that everything I need is always there for me. And I took a shower earlier and I just prayed the whole time, prayed out loud. And it was awesome because I used to sing in the shower. I used to make up all kinds of songs in the shower. And I thought, man, I could be a hit list if I actually had a pen and paper or recorded myself. I don't know, moments of very secure feelings in my life. But anyway, so as I kept praying and praying, it's like this feeling of calm. It's all going to be okay. No matter what the outcome is, it's going to be okay, because at least I'm trying, because if you're not trying, you've already failed. We hear these things in our lives and we're like, yeah. A lot of us just brush everything off like it is whatever, No, I'm going through this because of that, or no, I'm going. And I actually found myself starting to blame people. And I even had to apologize and said, I'm so sorry that I'm putting it on you, because it's us. It's not you and it's not me. It's choices that we've made, and of course, no, it's okay. And me having to go, no, it's not. That's a toxic trait of not taking ownership, not taking responsibility for my own choices and my own actions. So when you get into that mindset, when you start saying that, oh, I'm struggling because so-and-so did this to me, or I'm hurting because that person said that and they broke my heart, or, I'm going without because they had everything. Like I said, the mindset I was getting in. And it was almost like, okay, you have all of these great things, but you're not even acknowledging what you have. You're looking at the pain and the hurt of what other people haven't even intentionally done to you. All they've done is show you who they are. So when you get to the point that you see who people are, that's when it's time to release them and go, oh, okay, we ain't aligning anymore. This ain't copacetic, So when you get to the point of accepting that some people do have to be removed from your life, no matter how hard it is, because especially when it's family, that's when it's like, feels very heartbreaking, because family, we all look at that as the people that are our comfort that we can run to. But of course, that's society has changed because family is not how it used to be, you know. But anyways, put that to the side. When you can get back into that alignment with yourself, that energetic existence of it's all working out for me. It doesn't matter how it works out. It's all working out for me. And, you know, like I said, y'all, everyone has seen me very emotional pretty much this last, I want to say 2 weeks. This last week especially. And I kept going, it's the full moon. And then I was like, no, it's not the full moon. It's things that are going on around me. And then I had to go, no, it's not even that. And then I had to go, oh, it's me. It's my mindset. It's stress. And I was listening to, I think it's Motivational Monday or Joe Dispenza, and hearing about how that stress does trigger us to behave certain ways. And we all know that stress is like the number one killer, you know, that it can create disease in your life. Disease, problems you have to now correct. And when you get used to living in stress, which has been like my number one address, no matter where I lived for the last 20 years, was stress, you know? And it didn't matter because even when I was stressing, it was weird because it was like a conundrum. I was stressing, but I was full of hope. But I was stressing from the situation in which I was living in, that toxic relationship, not the concept of survival. I didn't have that mind that I was going to go without because it was always there. I don't know if this is making sense, but it's like I was stressing in one avenue and not another. And it took so long to accept the imbalance to be able to finally correct it that I actually stayed in a situation that was highly stressful, thinking I was at peace. And I was even laying in bed the other night and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get how a toxic situation felt more comfortable than a situation that is giving me a chance to grow. But it's almost like if you consider a baby in the womb, when they start to outgrow that space and it's about time to give birth, now that's when the discomfort comes for the mother because she's about to bring new life into the world, you know. And then when you get to that, all different kind of levels of stress begin to occur. But one thing I think a lot of us have forgotten, and it has been the new way of thinking, let's say, is that religion's not necessarily something we need. And in the concept of religion, I don't agree we need it, but we do need the concept in our hearts that God is the Almighty and the way in which we're going to make it in life. And I say God, I'm saying a higher power, a creator, however you're comfortable approaching the situation, because I know we're not all Christians that come from churches, you know, because I myself, my church is out in nature. I find that God sense everywhere I go when I align with it. But when you're out of alignment with that, that blessings and abundance and guidance and that divine nature of being, when you're out of that alignment, that's when it's roadblock, roadblock, roadblock. That's when you start getting further and further away from your goals. That's when you begin to start to question, is this all meant to destroy me? Because I will tell you, Job has been my name. I thought, man, it's all a matter of a test of faith. Because when it came down to it, you know, Job had to lose everything in order for him to basically show others that you can hit your lowest point. You can have everything ripped away from you. Everything that you love disappears. And then you can still come up and be blessed from that. And that is only when you do not lose that faith. When you do not lose that sight. You know, when you continue to pray and ask for guidance. And see those blessings and say thank you, because I think a lot of us forget. And I even had to remind my son the other day, and I said, those words thank you don't cross your mouth anymore. And he's like, well, I mean, they do sometimes. And like I told him, those are very powerful words. Those are, you know, thank you is something that shows somebody else that you appreciate their efforts, that you see what they're doing. And when you want to do that in a personal scale with people that you are with, why wouldn't you do it on a higher level scale? You know, why wouldn't we consider that our ancestors and our spirit guides and our creator and the things that are not visible to us, why would we not be grateful for those things? Because when you do lose that gratitude, you will find yourself running out of gas. When you're running out of gas, that's when you begin to struggle, and then you're scurrying and, oh my God, how do I overcome this? What do I need to do next? And you will drive yourself crazy. Number one example, a lot of people have watched me on a mental decline and breakdown since basically these huge financial responsibilities have come into my life. And I've made excuses for myself, you know, like, oh, I'm a single mom and I don't get child support. That's me excusing the difficulty of the nature and why I'm struggling in it. Rather than, it doesn't matter if I'm a single mom, I still have that loving father, mother, higher power that does bring things into my life when they need to be present. Because we can all want. You can want $1 million, you can want a mansion, you can want a Ferrari, you can want a vacation, you can want all these things, even a simple break. But I will tell you, if you're not in the concept of it's already coming to you, you deserve it, and you're blessed, it will never come to you. Because I've been sitting here thinking, if I can just think on it, focus on it, it will come. And it's funny because I've even made videos about when you focus on it, you're going to push it away. But even knowing what we know, we can unintentionally push away all of our desires, push away all of our abundance, push away all of our blessings because we're too busy considering how. How is this going to work? And that is not walking with blind faith. That is walking with basically conditional love. You show me that this is going to work and I'll continue to believe in you. That's like as an adult saying, well, if Santa brings me a gift, then I know he's real. But most of us have already taught ourselves that he's not real. So in the sense, it's almost like creating a fictitious character that you can believe in when things go right, but you can kind of push away when things are going bad. Because we have two figures in our lives that we're all familiar with. I'm pretty sure the entire world is familiar with God and the devil. So when good things are happening, praise the Lord. When bad things are happening, why does God let the devil do this to me? Or, you know, there's still a blame in a way. Or, oh, the devil's at it again, you know, and it's never any sort of personal responsibility on our own self. Because when you can begin to blame outside entities, then you're no longer the one in control of your life. But you are in control of your life. That's why you're given choices and freedom and action, like the ability to change things, the mindset, everything. You have the ability to do this, but you have to get in the perspective that, okay, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to work towards this. And each day I'm going to get in that vibrational balance of knowing that it is mine. Because you can apply for job after job after job and sit there and go, I'm not getting hired. Somebody else that has less qualifications can come along and get the job before you. And you're like, what? How did they? But it's also a matter of confidence, of believing that it is coming to you. Because when you can believe, then you will see. And we're backwards in the way that we live our lives. Seeing is believing. And I know I made that video, a year ago. And it's funny because I keep having these memories pop up and I keep going, God, I was there. Things started flowing so amazingly. Life was just awesome. And then it was like a bump in the road happened and I dealt with a little bit of heartbreak. And that seemed to continue. And now that that's coming to a head, you know, that's coming to a close for me. I've dealt with the emotions. I've tried to work through the emotions. I have So when it got to the point, it took not even a year of healing, but it took time to reflect on the situation. And then once, it's like yesterday, finally was the day that we're not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. There's nothing that has destroyed me. There's nothing that has made it to where I can't move forward. The only thing stopping me is myself and the inability to allow that hurt to go. You know, you can pray it away. You can thank it away. You can actually just forgive and allow yourself to move on. Because when you're sitting in those moments and you allow yourself to be in that insecure mindset, that spreads to the people around you. If you'll start paying attention to the way that your energy, your attitude affects others, you will see how you actually have more control of the situations around you than they do of you. Because you can wake up in the best mood and somebody can instantly turn it away, turn you into a sourpuss. And it is harder, yes, to bring people that are a little bit more weak-minded out of the attitude that they can get in. Especially if you feel like you have major responsibilities and people keep reminding you of these responsibilities and you're like, I'm doing the best I can. Get off me. Because the more that you get like that frustration, it's like you begin to boil. And at some point you have to make the decision, you know what? It doesn't matter what they say and it doesn't matter if I fail as long as I try, because if I try, then I can keep moving forward. But if I stop trying and I sit here and I'm just like pissed off at the world and man, nothing's working out for me, guess what? The more you tell yourself it's not working out, the more you're going to see it will not work out. The more that you have a belief on a condition, you will begin to not see the things that you want to believe. You can cut yourself short by trying to control the outcome. Because in all honesty, it's like we're the ones that create and have the imagination and we manifest. But at some point, it's like you're at the drafting board, you know, you're making the blueprint and then you're putting it out there and going, okay, now I'm waiting for the architect to give it back to me. Because just because you can dream of something big doesn't mean that you're going to create it with your own hands. You might need a whole team to do that. So when it comes down to working with the universe, there are stipulations. Like you can't fly off into the universe and get what you need and come back and go, here it is. Isn't that awesome? You know? Now, understandably, you work with the universe, you can be led to the positions and the things that you need and start getting those things, gathering your materials and putting it together. But it's still a matter of teamwork. And in that teamwork, there has to be belief. There has to be a sense of excitement because you will run out of gas. You will find yourself going, it's not working out. It's not working out. But even earlier when I was listening to some motivational speeches, like they said, you're going to have to fail. You will fail at some point in your life. And for me, it's funny because it was always like failure's not an option. And I have driven myself crazy, determined. I'm not going to fail. I'm not going to look weak. I am not going to look like I'm incapable. I'm not going to make myself out to be a fool because I tried something that I knew was way over my head. And instead, you know what? It's going to be what it's going to be. And I'm okay with the outcome. And I know that if it doesn't work out the way that I thought it would work out, doesn't mean that I necessarily failed because I tried. And as long as you keep going, those things that don't work out, I've always called them non-successes versus failures. Because when you have a non-success, that gives you the ability to continue to move on and continue to try. But when you have a failure, a lot of people, they get set back and they don't want to do it anymore because they're like, I've already failed once. Why would I keep doing this? This is insane. But the only thing about insanity is when you keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. Albert Einstein told us of this. So you have to get to the point of believing. And what do you need to believe in? Yourself. And it's very hard in the world we live in because it's competitive, combative, more negative than positive. You know, a lot of things aren't working at their full potential. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of us are not functioning at our full potential. Because we do get in a lack mindset. We do get in the concept that We see what's going wrong rather than acknowledge what's going right. So we have to get back into the vibration of, this is smooth sailing, baby. I'm glad that I chartered this vessel because it has the ability to soar. It has the ability to skyrocket forward and create pathways for me, or allow me to find those pathways that have already been placed for me. But you have to believe in the notion that there are doors that you do not see. There are pathways that are options for you to go and navigate yourself in different directions. Just because you're going in the wrong direction doesn't mean you have to continue to go in the wrong direction. You have choice. You can turn it around. You can turn it however you have to go. You don't always have to turn around. Sometimes you just have to reevaluate the situation and go, you know what? It was there to teach me how strong I am, to show me I have courage, to re-empower my faith. Because a lot of times when you are straying towards the darkness, that is where you will begin to not even be able to see the light. And when you can't see the light, that's when you begin to choke. And then when you begin to choke, that's when you want to give up. And when you get to where you want to give up, you're not even going to try. And now you're failing. So it's a matter of not expecting instant gratification, because we all know we live in a world of instantaneous, I want it. Oh, look, I got it. Even if you have to save for 2 paychecks to get that new phone or that new whatever you wanted, that's still instantaneous. When you can work a whole lifetime and never even realize that you were never grateful for everything you had in the first place. So, like I said, I'm trying to get back in my groove of feeling that empowerment that I used to hold and harness. You know, someone met me 1.5 years ago and they said, there's something about you. You're like a boss, the way you talk, the way you walk. And I can look back on old videos and be like, I was a boss. But then I had to go, no, remove the was. I am a boss. And all they did was remind me who I am, who I know myself to be, by who I walk with, who I work with. We all have the ability to shine light, love, and be compassionate to others. Whether you choose to use those superpowers is up to you. Because it's so simple to turn your back on somebody in need. It's so simple to neglect somebody else's wants just because you don't want to give in. Compromise is very important when you're working on a human scale, but don't compromise in the aspect that you're going against what you believe in, what you're comfortable with. You know? So just remember to be flexible. Remember to recharge those thank yous and watch out for your blessings. I'm going to leave it on that. So peace, love, and light. Bye-bye.